Weems shouted now, and then listened as though expecting faint replies. "Mrs. Cantwell? Mary?" he called. "Mrs. Forbes?" "Who is Mrs. Forbes?" said Foltz. "That is Mary Cantwell's new name on the other side of the glass," said Weems. "Names change when people go through?" said Foltz. "No, not necessarily," said Weems, "though a lot of people decide to change their names to go through with their new futures, new personalities. In the case of Mary Cantwell, she married a man named Gordon Forbes last week after passing through." He smiled. "I was the best man in all modesty. I don't think anyone ever deserved the honor more." "You can go in and out of these mirrors anytime you want?" said Foltz. "Certainly," said Weems. "Self-hypnosis, the easiest and commonest form of hypnosis." "I'd sure like a demonstration," said Foltz. "That's why I'm trying to call Mary on one of the others back," said Weems. "Hello? Hello? Can anybody hear me?" he shouted at the mirrors. "I thought maybe you'd go through a mirror for us," said Foltz. "That's a thing I don't care to do, really, except on very special occasions," said Weems. "Like Mary's wedding, like the Carter family's first anniversary on the other side." "The who family?" said Foltz. "The Carter family," said Weems. "George, Nancy, and their children, Eunice and Robert." He pointed over his shoulder at a mirror behind them. "I put them all through that mirror a year and a quarter ago." "I thought you just specialized in rich widows," said Foltz. "I thought that's what you specialized in," said Weems. "That's all you asked about, rich widows." "So you put a family through too?" said Foltz. "Several of them," said Weems. "I suppose you want the exact number. I can't give that number off the top of my head. I have to check my files." "They had bad features, sick features," said Foltz. "These families you, put through? In terms of life on this side of the glass?" said Weems. "No, not really, but there were far better futures to be had on the other side. No danger of war, for one thing, a much lower cost of living for another." Said Foltz. "And when they went through, they left all their money with you, right?" "They took it with them," said Weems. "All of it, with the exception of my fee, which is a flat $100 a head." "It's too bad they can't hear you yell," said Foltz. "I'd sure like to talk to some of these people, hear about all the nice things that have been happening to them." "Look in any mirror and see what a long, complicated corridor my voice has to carry down," said Weems. "I guess it's up to you to put on the demonstration again, then," said Foltz. "I told you," said Weems, very uneasy now. "I'm very reluctant to do it." "You're afraid the trick won't work?" said Foltz. "Oh, it'll work all right," said Weems. "It's likely to work too well, is all. If I get on the other side of the glass, I'm going to want to stay on the other side. I always do," said Foltz. Foltz laughed. "If it's so heavenly on the other side," he said, "what could you keep here?" Weems closed his eyes and massaged the bridge of his nose. "The same thing that makes you an excellent policeman," he said. He opened his eyes. "A sense of duty." He did not smile. "And what does this duty of yours make you do?" said Foltz. He asked the question mockingly. His air of being dazed, of being in Weems's power, had dropped away. Weems, seeing the transformation, became in turn a small and wretched man. "It makes me stay here on this side," he said emptily, "because I'm the only one I know of who can help others pass through." He shook his head. You aren't hypnotized, are you? He said. Hell no, said Foltz. And neither is he. Carney relaxed, shuddered, smiled. If it makes you feel any better, said Foltz, taking his handcuffs from his hip pocket. It's a couple of brother hypnotists who are taking you in. That's how we got this assignment. Carney and I have both played with it some. Compared to you, we're mere amateurs, of course. Come, Weems. Rumpelstiltskin. Hold out your wrist like a good boy. This was a trap, then? Said Weems. Right, said Foltz. We wanted to get you to talk, and you certainly did. The only problem now is to find the bodies. What'd you plan to do with Carney and me? Get us to shoot each other? No, said Weems, simply. I'll tell you this, said Foltz. We respected hypnotism, not enough to take any chances. There's another detective right outside the door. Weems had not held his wrist like a good little boy. I don't believe you, he said. Fred, Foltz called to the detective on the staircase outside. Come on in so Rumpelstiltskin can believe in you. In came a third detective, a pale, moon-faced, huge young Swede. Carney and Foltz were elated and smug. The man named Fred didn't share their delight. He was worried and watchful, had his gun drawn. Please, Weems said to Foltz, tell him to put his gun away. Put your gun away, Fred, said Foltz. You guys are really all right, said Fred. Carney and Foltz laughed. Fooled you too, eh? Said Foltz. Fred didn't laugh. Yeah, you sure did, he said. He looked closely at Carney and Foltz, did it impersonally, and as though they were department store dummies. And Carney and Foltz, in their moment of triumph, really did look like dummies, stiff, waxen, with mortuary smiles. For the love of God, Weems said to Foltz, tell him to put his gun away. For the love of God, said Foltz, put the gun away, Fred. Fred didn't do it. I don't think you guys know what you're doing, he said. That's the funny thing I ever heard, said Weems. Carney and Foltz burst out laughing. They laughed so hard and long that their bellies ached and their weak eyes bugged, and they gasped for air. That's enough, said Weems, and they stopped laughing instantly and became department store dummies again. They are hypnotized, said Fred, backing away. Certainly, said Weems. You've got to understand what sort of house you're in. Nothing is seen, felt, said, or done here that I don't want seen, said, felt, or done. Come on, said Fred queasily, waving his gun. Wake him up. Straighten your tie, said Weems. I said wake him up, said Fred. Straighten your tie, said Weems. Fred straightened his tie. Thank you. Now, I'm afraid I have rather frightening news for you, for all of you. Consternation filled every face. A tornado is coming, said Weems. It will blow you all away unless you handcuff your left hands to that steam radiator. The three detectives, clumsy with terror, handcuffed themselves to the radiator. Throw your keys away, or you'll be struck by lightning, said Weems. Keys flew across the room. The tornado missed you, said Weems. You're safe now. The three detectives wept at their miraculous deliverance. Pull yourselves together, gentlemen, said Weems. I have an announcement to make. The three were able to for the news. I'm going to leave you, said Weems. In fact, I'm going to leave everything about his existence behind. He went to a mirror, tapped it with his knuckles. I'm going to step through this mirror in a moment. You will see me and my reflection meet and blend, shrink to the size of a pinhead. The pinhead will grow again, not as me as my reflection, but as my reflection alone. You will then see my reflection walk away from you down the long, long corridor. See the corridor I'm going to walk down? The three nodded. You will see me pass through the mirror, said Weems, when I say the words black magic. When I say the words white magic, you will see me reappear in every mirror in this room. You will shoot at each of these images until every mirror is broken. And when I say, goodbye, gentlemen, you will shoot each other down. Weems strolled to the attic door. Nobody watched him do it. All eyes were on the mirror he said he was going to pass through. Black magic, said Weems softly. There he goes, cried Foltz. Like going through a door, said Carney. God help us, said Fred. Weems stepped out of the ballroom and onto the stairs. He left the door open a crack. White magic, he said. There he is, said Foltz. All around us, said Carney. Get him, said Fred. There was a pandemonium of shots and yells and shattering glass. Weems waited for the silence that would tell him all the mirrors had been broken, that it was time to at last say goodbye. The farewell was poised on his lips when bullets ripped through him and the door against which he leaned. Weems sank to the dying to the staircase, about to roll all the way down it. He was not thinking of the lifeless roll to come. He was thinking too late that on the other side of the ballroom door had been a mirror.